That's back-to-back wins for the Washington Wizards. As always, here on Wizards Outlook, joined by Raymond Lyons, Cardell Dudley Jr., and Wilson Tarpe Jr., and the Wizards handle business tonight. It's weird to say this, but they did what they were supposed to do. They beat the Timberwolves 128-112. Brad Beal had a big third quarter. Some other folks joined in. Bertans hit some threes. Garrison Matthews had a night, but I'm sure you guys are going to get to that. So I guess, Cardell, we'll start with you tonight. I know you listened into a little bit of Coach Brooks. If you want to share some notes from that, and then your initial reaction to tonight's game.
Oh, yeah. He said controlling the offensive boards in the second half was the difference in the game. Obviously, the Wolves jumped on them in the first half and killed them on the offensive glass, and that's what kept the game close. But the Wizards cleaned it up, and they were able to explode in that third quarter, which we will get on later on. He said he felt like Alex Len gave the Wizards some great minutes. He stayed ready despite not playing a lot in recent games, especially defending Karl Towns. That one block he did on Karl Towns, the one-leg fadeaway, and he blocked that jump. I've never seen that happen to Karl Towns. So that tells you he was locked in defensively to keep Karl Towns in check. He talked about Bertans getting hot in the third. He said even though he was off in the first half, Brooks said he told Bertans keep shooting. He said shoot or shoot. He said that's your job. That's what we paying you to do. And shots started falling in the third quarter, and he said they needed him, to blow the game open. They needed that shooting from him. He also talked about how happy he was to see Thomas Bryant. For people that wasn't watching the game or maybe missed that part, this is the first game since Thomas Bryant got injured where he was at the game. He came and sat by the bench or whatnot. He said that was the best thing about the first half. He said he's definitely missed, as we all know, just watching them. I mean, look, they're winning games, but imagine if he was playing. It'd be a whole different ball game with what he brings. He said having him around would be great. He said he's not sure if he's going to travel, but he hopes so because, he's a great kid and he brings a lot of enthusiasm and positive energy around the team. And plus, think about it, man. When you get in the grind, it's normal. Players start to be like, you know what, I don't feel like practicing. But if you see him on the sideline putting in work trying to get back, you really don't have any excuse. It's time to get to work. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And he definitely gave Garrison Matthews a lot of praise. He said, Garrison Matthews is a fighter. He said story was a pre-draft workout. He said, put the players through this running drill. And Matthews got the record out of all these super athletes and all that. He got the record in that running drill since Brooks has been in for pre-draft work. He said he was running so hard that he thought his lungs were going to explode, and you could tell he got tired. But Matthews just pushed himself because he was trying to make it. He was trying to make the team. He was trying to get drafted, and he said that got Scott Brooks' attention right there, where he was like, all right, we gotta find something for him. We gotta bring him in. Maybe he may need some G League seasoning, but I want him somehow. He got to be here, man, because that showed me something, man. He said a lot of guys that come in and try to make the team, they understand there's no such thing as a warm up. For guys that want to make it, you gotta be ready. He said you gotta treat practice like it's a game 7. He said it's hard to make it in this league. He said Garrison Matthews has a skill set. It's not like he's just a hustle guy. Obviously, he can shoot. He can take you off the bounce. He could do a lot of things, but he said his best skill is to play hard. And he said we talk about analytics all the time. He said I would like to see the analytics for playing hard. You know what I mean? And he said Garrison is the poster child for that. So that's what he touched on pretty much in his post game. And as for the game itself, I just feel like Minnesota, took it to the Wiz in the first quarter a little bit. They out rebounded them 17-11, scored 20 points in the paint. I think the Wizards were just kind of it's the Timberwolves. It was kind of like that vibe. We're turning on and beating them and whatnot. And they had to understand that the Timberwolves, they're young, they're inexperienced, but they're desperate too. They just got a new coach. So now the spotlight is on the players. Right now, the only 2 players that's probably safe is Karl Towns and Rubio. Everybody else expendable. And Anthony Edwards because they just drafting them. But other than that, but if the right player becomes available for him, even Anthony Edwards is expendable. They get him out of there, for certain players. But everybody else trying to fight because you don't know if you're gonna be there. This is a new coach, and he don't know if he trying to see who he gonna keep and who he gonna try to replace. It's just that so they came out and played hard, harder than what the Wizards anticipated. I think in the second quarter, that's when things started going the Wizards' way, obviously led by Russ and Bill. I think Russ had 10, 4, and 4 in the quarter in the second quarter, and Bill added 9 to 2. They took a 2-point lead, and we all know what happened in the third quarter. They just blitzed them. They just did what they should do. They blew them out. Outscored them 44-29. Bill had 17 points in the quarter, 6-8 shooting. Bertan shot 4 or 5, had 12 points, and that was pretty much the game. You know, I know Brooks kind of touched on Garrison Matthews, but yeah, his physicality defensively against any player that the Wolves threw at him. It didn't matter if it was Karl Towns. It didn't matter if it was Rubio. He was banging with him. He was moving bodies. He was sliding his feet. He was making plays, man. And he just brings the physicality and energy that they lack early in the season outside of Thomas Bryant. You know, with all due respect, it is what it is. And for him to get 9 rebounds, that's reflective of what Brooks is talking about as a guard. And then he 18 points, 4 or 6 shooting, 3 or 4 from deep. That's a bonus, man. You know what I'm saying? You get that from them, yeah, they're gonna be very hard to beat. And then one thing I just saw throughout the game, once they kind of woke up from that first quarter, was defensively, they crowded the paint. You know, obviously the Wolves aren't a great shooting team, and they played them as such. You know, we're gonna crowd the paint. We're gonna focus on Towns, and if the guys start making shots from the outside where we gotta adjust, we'll do that. But right now, we just gonna crowd the paint and make sure Towns don't go crazy on us. If he go crazy on us, as we've seen in the past, he's capable of beating the Wizards himself. So Brooks is aware of that, and he didn't give him any life, and the team followed suit. They got the W early. You know, get ready for Boston tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, man, they won this game in the third quarter. Timberwolves just didn't have any answers for them. You know, Cardell brought up the rebounding disparity in the first half. The Wizards just kind of cleaned that up, and everything else fell into place. Westbrook, man, he's never going to be MVP Westbrook again, but he's looking closer to himself than he has, than other points of the season. You know, he's making it so people got to respect the blow by again. You know, earlier people weren't having no trouble staying in front of him. Now it's a little bit of a different story, kind of getting to the basket with more frequency and easier. So that just kind of opens up his game, and we know he's more comfortable when he's able to have some type of explosive component to his game, and also getting out in the open court and performing that way. So, you know, that's what's kind of lending to his improved performance. Just the Wizards' recent success overall is just, it's a team effort. Bertans been coming alive lately. I just talked about Westbrook. Then, of course, Garrison Matthews and Mo Wagner, they doing what they do. Brad Beal, he got some running mates now and is leading the wins. So yeah, as long as they keep up the effort from top to bottom, then, I don't see any reason why, this level of play can't continue. In the fourth quarter, Minnesota, they was trying to fight back, but I like Brooks immediately just nipping that in the bud and getting Bill and Bertans back in there for some more offensive firepower. When Bill got in, he think like the first 3 possessions he went to the rack. One of them, he kind of flipped it up and Alex Len followed. Then right after that, he got a bucket. Then I think the next play after that, he drew a foul. So he obviously knew what he was getting back in the game to do. And he came in on a mission and got to work. And, I like the way they just approached the game with Karl Anthony Towns. They with a big skill guy like that, you just got to make him uncomfortable. They were physical with him. They started doing their work early, made him fight for position. He even picked up a couple frustration fouls, but that's what you got to do, man. Because, a guy like that, he's capable of putting your lights out. So, you got to get up in him and make him work for it. And, hopefully this Neto injury isn't serious, especially with Ish Smith out right now, because, if it is, that leaves a void for that backup point guard spot. And even with, Russ not playing back-to-backs, that'll cause an issue for tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that situation. But yeah, man, also Alex Len gave him some good minutes. We talked about him on the last show. He was kind of missing in action lately, but like we said, you get in and you produce, you're gonna find the floor. So that is what it is, man. It's going to continue to be that way because obviously Brooks not playing. He's not trying to go back down to where they were early in the season. But yeah, man, a good win. You know, it's odd to be in a place where we're talking about, you know, the Wizards being on the good end of you know, one of these beating the team you're supposed to beat games. You know, they but yeah, man, the T-Wolves, they're obviously struggling. They're a young team. They just went through a coaching change. You know, and this is a game you're really supposed to win. So they came out and handled business, which was good to see. You know, typically a team, you know, comes out and punches them early like they did a few weeks ago. We don't know how they're gonna respond to that. But you know, tonight they got it going. And like I said, in the third quarter, they just blew the game open.
Yeah, there's not too much more for me to add. Just simply they did what they were supposed to do against an opponent they're supposed to beat. No pat on the back for that in a sense that you can't afford to lose those type of games the rest of the way because you literally started the season off by tricking away 3 or 4 of them games. And a couple of those games you tricked away at the beginning of the year were against that a couple of those were against Philly late. Was one against Philly late? Where that would have been a
I think
great
it was 2, yeah.
Or two great wins early on. Had you finished the job in those games. But you know, like Ray said before, not talking about what happened. But yeah, this needs to become the norm where you take care of business against the team you're supposed to take care of business. You know, kudos to Bill for kind of delivering a knockout blow in the third quarter. Like this is over. This doesn't need to get crazy going into the fourth. Get this thing out of here. And then you know the rest of the guys going the rest of the way. I guess for you guys, my only question is any early or you know just initial thoughts leading into tomorrow's matchup. You know, got a good home win tonight, but it is a back-to-back. Tomorrow night they'll be on the road in Boston. Ray, we'll start with you and then Cardell.
I think they got to come out in the first quarter tomorrow. How Minnesota came out in the first quarter tonight. You know, a lot of energy because you know, I mean, to be perfectly honest, they're going to be expecting them to come out flat. You know, it's a back-to-back and they're traveling, albeit it's just up the road to Boston, but it's travel nonetheless. So I think if they start fast and just don't let the game get on top of them, then they'll be in good shape. Boston's probably going to be on get back because of what happened to them a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I think Boston is what kicked off this spurt. You know, so yeah, they definitely going to be looking to avenge that loss. But you know, the Wizards, they're playing good right now, and I don't think at this point they're one of them teams you could just kind of look over. To be honest, man, they're playing good basketball, and you know, if they come out with some energy and they're able to maintain it, then they'll be good. Because you know what we're seeing is even if some people don't start out fast throughout the course of the game, they're able to find their footing and contribute. And we always got that one constant with Bill where we know we're gonna get from him no matter what. So yeah, man, I'm gonna call a victory for tomorrow. Hopefully I don't jinx them, but I'm gonna go ahead and stamp it, man.
Y'all remember that? That's Randy Lyons at Hoop Realist on Twitter. Go ahead, Carl.
I mean, what Brooks said, he think Neto's injury is not that serious. Just think he needs a guy sore precaution. Russ has been playing back-to-backs lately. He said he'll see how he feel. He's been feeling better, so you know, they got a rhythm. So and you know, this game was kind of relatively easy. He didn't get banged up a lot, so I expect Russ to play. You know, watch it out. You know, that's not even him. But also, I think they're fine if they bring their defense. That's the key in this winning streak, period. I remember early in the season, they didn't trust each other. You know, yeah, maybe 1 or 2 players playing sound defense, and other guys, they were nowhere to be found. They weren't physical. They were just on the floor, on the end. You know what I mean? And that's changed the last few games. That's been the constant. That's been the consistency. Even when they've had stretches where they couldn't score, their defense held them down. That's why you have to play defense. It happens for every team. Guys early in the season, we were looking at them like y'all soft as hell, are throwing their bodies around now. You know, you look at Bertans, he's actually in there banging, setting hard screens, going in there for rebounds. Dude did you know, a poor excuse of a T-Mac today. You know what I'm saying? He shot the three, one in there, one in there, missed and dunked it home. I damn near, I almost cut the game off and said, "F this." You know, it is what it is, man. Like, it's the end of days. Let me go spend time with my family. You know, just wait for God to end all this. You know,
Hey, bro, the sad part, he literally tweeted me "end of days" in all caps. I knew I was getting some type of message from him.
Look here, man. Look, I wouldn't want to be the dude that let him get that in the Minnesota film session, though. That look, I don't care if it's the league. That's suicide, baby. Get on the line. I'm gonna forget about you for a while. I'll come back when I'm ready, man. That's how it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't let that happen, man. But you know, they're a different team, man. You know, we gotta give them credit. They got better. They improved. They're physical. They're fighting. They've won games in a variety of ways. They won games with their offense. They won games as a unit. They won games ugly. They won grinded out games where neither team are wilting, but they just figure out a way to win. They're understanding what to win, man. You know, you gotta give kudos, you gotta give props where it's due. And the Celtics ain't playing well. We can't keep giving teams lifetime achievement awards, man. It is what we gotta determine how they're playing right now. I know they just came out with a good win against the Pacers. Kemba woke up, so the Wizards got to watch that. With Russ and Neto and all that, especially with Ish Smith out. But at the end of the day, they haven't been playing well lately. So they've been up and down just as much as the Wizards lately. So the Wizards are capable of winning that game. It's not really you gotta call it what it is. It's not really sway either way. You know what I'm saying? It's just who gonna impose their will. And I know the Wizards gonna be fatigued, but it's the league. No one cares. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody playing back-to-backs and stuff. So it's a unique back-to-back because they played at home and then they got to fly out to Boston tonight and get ready for the game tomorrow. That's different. But at the same time, with the way Boston is trying to figure themselves out, this is a perfect opportunity for them to get a win, man. They just play their game. You know what I'm saying? So if everybody's healthy and they do what they got to do, it should be fine. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, and as we see right now, the Wizards are 13-18 after this last win. It's back-to-back wins. On the road in Denver 2 nights ago. Tonight, Celtics tomorrow. You're 5 games under 500. I mean, technically, you're 7.5 games out of but more importantly, out of the 8th spot, you're not that far behind, which Cardell has mentioned 7 times.
And they are 1.5 games out of the play-in. The 9th and 10th spot where you can play in and get in the playoffs. You see what I'm saying? So, they right there, man. They right there. They just got to keep defending. Give them a chance. Because the thing is, you got a closer. Every team don't got that.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can grind it out however you want it. I know I can get a ball to Bill. He can make some. Bertans can hit shots. He can get hot. He's a threat. And that's the beauty of it. Even Garrison Matthews, way he's physically playing and stuff, and he's hitting shots now. Teams are noticing that. So that spreads the floor, and it's just like, Bill, go do one-on-one. He's the leading scorer. That's advantage Wizards all day. So they should be confident going into tomorrow's game.
No, for sure. Like you said, defense is one thing you control in terms of effort and willingness to do it. It's something that you need to pack every time you leave your arena. It's that simple. We saw them reel off, what was it? Was it 6 straight wins?
Yeah.
Or was it 5 or 6 straight wins before the Clippers? 6 before the Clippers, and I'm not going to get mad at them for the Clippers. There's levels to things. I'm not going to get too mad at them for that. But I do.
5. My bad. It was 5.
Yeah. Oh, because they went back-to-back. Yeah.
So I do applaud them. I do applaud them for bouncing back after the Clippers because the teams you played after the Clippers weren't the Clippers level. So you did what you're supposed to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? That makes the Clippers loss look like what it was. As of right now, an isolated incident within the last 8 games. So, you continue to take care of business. Like Cardo said, you have every right to go to Boston tomorrow with confidence. If you could, and also you have a recipe for getting W's. You know what you need to do. At least there's a baseline, like a minimum requirement of what you need to do. So, we'll see from there. You guys had anything else you want to add before we close?
Sir, get ready for tomorrow. Back at it.
All right. You guys have a great night. We'll see you guys tomorrow night after the Wizards take on the Celtics.